Wait. Did I just hear this right? There's a fish that can literally explode underwater like a living bomb? Excuse me, but since when did the ocean start auditioning for Michael Bay movies? Because I thought sharks were scary enough, now we're adding underwater grenades to the list. Great, just what my anxiety needed. So here's the thing, when people say exploding fish, you probably imagine some cartoon TNT or maybe a Finding Nemo sequel directed by Hollywood. But no, this is a real creature living in the same ocean where you and I swim that survives by going boom. Not the kind of boom that levels cities, but enough to freak out predators and make them go, nope, I'm out. Picture this, you're snorkeling peacefully, enjoying some coral reef vibes, and suddenly a fish just detonates in front of you. Bubbles everywhere, shockwaves popping like someone shook a 2-liter soda and opened it in your face. You'd be confused, terrified, and maybe a little impressed. That's basically what's happening here. And of course, I had to look it up because I'm just a dumb rabbit with oversized glasses, but apparently this isn't some freak accident. It's an actual defense strategy. Nature decided regular swimming wasn't enough, so it gave this fish the equivalent of a stun grenade. And honestly, that feels a little unfair. I don't even have health insurance. So today, we're diving into the weirdest aquatic survival tactic you've probably never heard of, the exploding fish. What species is it? How does it go boom without turning itself into sushi confetti? And should you be worried next time you go scuba diving? Let's find out. Alright, so let's meet the star of today's underwater action movie. No, it's not a shark, not a jellyfish, not even a torpedo-shaped tuna. It's actually a tiny, unassuming fish that looks like it should be minding its own business. The kind of fish you'd glance at in an aquarium and forget 5 seconds later. And yet, this little guy has the ultimate party trick. It can unleash a burst so powerful, predators literally freeze for a moment, like your Wi-Fi when 10 people are streaming Netflix at once. The explosion isn't dynamite, obviously. What's happening is a mix of biology and physics. Some species have specialized muscles and swim bladders, basically built-in airbags that can contract super fast, releasing a sudden blast of bubbles and sound. Think of it like underwater fireworks, except no one's clapping afterward. To a predator though, that's like a flashbang grenade, loud, disorienting, and definitely not worth chasing dinner over. This isn't unique to just one random fish, by the way. Scientists have found multiple marine species that rely on shock tactics. Some release rapid bubble jets, others snap their bodies to generate cavitation, the same phenomenon shrimp use to punch holes in water. But the result is the same. Yes. Boom, surprise, predator gone. Imagine if you had that ability in real life. Someone tries to rob you, and instead of calling the cops, you just puff out a sonic blast like a human subwoofer. I'd sign up immediately. Though, let's be real, if I had that power, I'd probably just use it to scare off people who steal my fries. The coolest part? This explosion happens so quickly, even high-speed cameras struggle to catch it in detail. It's like the ocean's equivalent of snapping your fingers. Blink and you miss the kaboom. Nature has basically engineered the ultimate underwater jump scare. And yeah, the fish is still totally fine afterward. It doesn't blow itself into sushi, it just keeps swelling away like nothing happened. Meanwhile, the predator's brain is still buffering. So now we know the fish isn't suicidal, it's strategic. But what actually makes this boom possible? How does a squishy little creature weaponize physics better than most human inventions? That's where the science gets spicy. Okay, science time, but don't worry, I promise this won't feel like your boring high school physics class. Because this fish isn't just a biology lesson, it's basically nature's prank machine. So here's the trick. The explosion is caused by a phenomenon called cavitation. Fancy word, right? Cavitation happens when something moves through water so fast, it creates tiny vapor bubbles. And those bubbles, they collapse almost instantly, releasing a shockwave and a burst of energy. Basically, water goes from chill to Hulk smash in a microsecond. Think about when you open a soda can after shaking it. The sudden pressure release makes liquid and bubbles go everywhere. Now imagine that happening underwater, multiplied by the speed of a snapping fish muscle. That's cavitation. And while your soda disaster just ruins your shirt, cavitation underwater can stun predators or even crack seashells. Some fish use special swim bladders, like built-in balloons, to rapidly compress and release air. Others whip their tails or snap their muscles so fast that the surrounding water literally tears itself apart. And when those bubbles implode, boom, tiny underwater shockwave. If you were a predator fish casually chasing lunch and suddenly got hit by that, you'd probably forget you were hungry. Or forget your own name. Here's the wild part. Cavitation is so intense, it can damage metal. Propellers on ships? Yeah, they literally get eaten away by cavitation bubbles over time. Meanwhile, this little fish is out here using the same destructive physics as a natural defense mechanism. Like, excuse me, Mother Nature, why does a random fish get access to military-grade tech before I even get free Wi-Fi on the subway? Scientists studying these fish use super slow-motion cameras, like the kind that film bullets flying through apples, to catch the action. And even then, the boom lasts just milliseconds. One moment, the fish is chilling. The next moment, it's like, surprise, flashbang. Then it swims off casually, while its attacker does the underwater equivalent of holding its ears and screaming, "What?" Now, here's a cool metaphor. Imagine clapping your hands. Easy, right? Now imagine clapping so fast that the air between your palms turns into firecrackers. That's basically what these fish are doing, except instead of hands, it's muscles and swim bladders. Instead of applause, it's a concussive blast. And instead of a standing ovation, predators just nope out. Some researchers even compare it to popcorn. The kernels stay calm, then suddenly pop with heat and pressure. That's this fish. Popcorn with an attitude. Except you can't eat it with butter. Well, you could try, but I wouldn't recommend it. And get this, while most animals rely on teeth, claws, or toxins, this fish weaponizes physics. It doesn't have venom, it doesn't need armor, it just makes the water itself attack. It's like trying to fight someone, but the air around them keeps punching you instead. The efficiency is insane. The shockwaves don't just scare predators, they can also damage sensory organs. Some unlucky attackers literally swim away dazed, like they just lost a round of underwater boxing. And remember, all of this is coming from a creature that could probably fit in your hand. So, the big picture? Cavitation is like underwater TNT, and these fish are master engineers at using it without blowing themselves up. Which makes me wonder, if fish figured this out millions of years ago, why are humans still struggling with broken ship propellers? Nature's basically rubbing it in. Get good, nerds! But enough about physics, you get it. Bubbles go boom, predators run away, fish survives, simple, chaotic, effective. Next question, does this actually work in real life? Like, what happens when a predator actually tries to eat one of these exploding fish? Spoiler, it's hilarious. So, does the boom actually work, or is this just one of those sounds cool on paper kind of things? Spoiler, it absolutely works. Predators do not like surprise grenades in their faces. Imagine you're a hungry barracuda, sleek, fast, razor-sharp teeth, basically the Ferrari of the reef. You spot a tiny fish and think, snack time. You open your jaws, lunge forward, and suddenly, kaboom! A blast of bubbles and sound smacks you in the face. For a split second, your vision blurs, your senses go haywire, and you're left looking like someone who just got flashbanged in Call of Duty. By the time you recover, the little fish is gone. Meal denied. Rage level maximum. Divers have even reported hearing these underwater pops from a distance. To us humans, it sounds like someone cracking bubble wrap really aggressively. But to smaller marine predators, that sound is a full-on "don't mess with me" siren. One study filmed predators approaching these fish only to recoil instantly when the blast went off. Sharks, groupers, even bigger predatory fish, many of them backed away like they'd just seen their ex walk into the room. The shockwave doesn't injure them permanently, but it buys the exploding fish precious seconds to escape, and in the ocean, seconds means survival.
It's basically the aquatic version of farting in a crowded elevator. Nobody gets hurt, but everybody leaves you alone. Effective, embarrassing, and weirdly powerful. What makes it even cooler is that the fish can repeat the move multiple times. It's not a one-time self-destruct. Think of it more like a rechargeable stun grenade. Pop once, predator stunned. If the danger comes back, pop again. The only real cost is energy. Contracting those muscles at such high speed is exhausting, like running a marathon just to perform a single jump scare. But hey, better tired than dead. And here's the kicker. Some predators actually learn to avoid them. After a few failed attempts, they start recognizing the species and just don't bother anymore. Imagine being so good at your defense move that your enemies add you to their mental do not disturb list. The result? This little fish manages to survive in oceans packed with bigger, scarier, toothier monsters, not by fighting back with brute strength, but by weaponizing chaos. It doesn't need armor, venom, or spikes. It just needs to yell, boo, in the most dramatic way possible. So yeah, the explosion trick works, but the fish isn't the only one with wild defense strategies down there. Nature seems to have gone full comic book with marine life, which brings us to the Avengers of the Ocean. Okay, so our exploding fish is impressive, but let's be honest, it's not the only weird kid in the ocean classroom. The sea is full of animals that look like they were designed by a video game developer on too much caffeine. And together, they're basically the Avengers of self-defense. First up, the mantis shrimp. If the exploding fish is a stun grenade, then the mantis shrimp is a literal sniper rifle. This rainbow-colored little nightmare can punch with the speed of a bullet. And not just any punch, we're talking about smashing so fast that it also creates cavitation bubbles, little shockwave bursts that can crack open crab shells like potato chips. Scientists had to put them in special aquariums with reinforced glass because, yeah, they were literally breaking tanks. So mantis shrimp is basically the Hulk of the reef, tiny, angry, and unstoppable. Next, the pufferfish. Everyone knows this one. When threatened, it inflates into a spiky beach ball of doom. Imagine trying to bite into a stress ball covered in thumbtacks. Not fun. Oh, and did I mention many pufferfish carry tetrodotoxin, one of the deadliest poisons on Earth. So not only are they inflatable, they're basically poisonous balloons, deadly party favors. Then we have the sea cucumber, which deserves an Oscar for grossest defense move ever. When attacked, it literally ejects its own intestines. Like, here, chew on this, bro. The sticky guts tangle predators, binding the cucumber time to wiggle away. And don't worry, it regrows the guts later. It's like the world's nastiest party trick.
If the exploding fish is a flashbang, the sea cucumber is a biological smoke bomb. Gross, but effective. And let's not forget the electric eel. Yes, technically not an eel, but close enough. This guy can unleash electric shocks strong enough to stun prey, scare predators, and even knock a human off their feet. Imagine walking into your kitchen and your toaster suddenly decides to taser you. That's what it's like hunting an electric eel. Now, picture all of these creatures together in one cinematic lineup: the Mantis Hulk, Captain Puffball, the Intestinal Avenger, and of course, our very own Fish Grenade. Nature's Ocean Avengers, coming soon to a coral reef near you. What's amazing is how different all these strategies are. One uses physics, another uses chemistry, another uses biology in the nastiest way possible. It's like nature said, you know what, let's try every idea once and see what sticks. Spoiler, they all stuck because these species are still here, thriving, while plenty of less creative animals went extinct. So when you think about it, the ocean is basically a live-action role-playing game, and each creature is grinding with its own weird superpower. Exploding fish, flashbang support class. Mantis shrimp, high DPS brawler. Pufferfish, Tank with poison bonus. Sea cucumber, gross utility player. Electric eel, the mage who spams lightning. And somewhere out there, humans are building submarines and weapons thinking we're the smart ones. Meanwhile, fish are out here casually flexing moves that would make Marvel jealous. But here's the twist. All of this isn't just for show. These powers have a real evolutionary meaning, which means it's time to get a little serious. So here's the big question. Why go through all the trouble of turning yourself into a living stun grenade? Evolution, baby. In the ocean, it's eat or be eaten, and the animals that survive are the ones with the weirdest, most creative hacks. Our exploding fish didn't get sharp teeth or armor plates. Instead, it said, "Fine, I'll weaponize bubbles." And somehow it worked. The advantage is obvious. Predators learn fast. If chasing this species means getting flashbanged every time, they'll just move on to easier meals. Over generations, this defense strategy becomes fine-tuned. Louder pops, faster bubbles, more efficient energy use. It's like upgrading your skill tree in a video game. But here's where it gets extra interesting. Humans are actually studying this phenomenon for technology. Cavitation shockwaves are being researched for medical treatments, like breaking up kidney stones with sound waves instead of surgery. Engineers also look at these fish to design quieter, more efficient underwater machines. Imagine submarines that can use bubble bursts for navigation or even defense. Nature did it first, and now scientists are basically copy-pasting homework. And of course, there's the reminder that evolution doesn't care about looking cool or elegant, it just cares about survival. Exploding fish aren't trying to win a popularity contest, they just want to live another day. But somehow, in doing so, they've become one of the ocean's strangest, most meme-worthy creatures. Honestly, I'm low-key jealous. I can't even defend myself from a mosquito without flailing around like an idiot, while this fish casually drops underwater grenades. Life is unfair. So yeah, bubbles, explosions, survival, science, what's not to love? So, what did we learn today? Somewhere out there in the big blue ocean, there's a tiny fish that defends itself not with teeth, not with poison, not with spikes, but with a literal underwater boom. It doesn't blow itself to bits, it just flashbangs predators, swims away, and lives to fight another day. Honestly, that's a survival move worthy of respect. But it also reminds us how insanely creative nature is. Shrimp that punch like boxers, cucumbers that puke their guts, pufferfish that cosplay as balloons, and now the aquatic stun grenade. The ocean really is one giant, weird flex, but okay competition. So next time you're at the beach, don't worry, there's no chance you're gonna be sushi bombed by an exploding fish. Unless, well, no, probably not. I mean, unless the fish union is planning something big. Wink. Anyway, I'm just a dumb rabbit with oversized glasses, but I love discovering these bizarre survival acts. If you enjoyed this journey through the ocean's strangest weapons, make sure to like, subscribe, and join me next time, because trust me, nature's got even weirder stories up its fluffy sleeve. And until then, remember, don't explode under pressure, unless you're a fish.